Hi everybody. My name's Angie Boyd Chambers, and I'm going to be doing my first webinar this evening with you, talking about marketing physicians and how you really go, best ways to go about that. So bear with me. As I said, this is my first, but excited to be here with you this evening and have done a lot of preparation for this. But as you know, first time for everything can always be different and exciting. So let's just see how this goes. I do have a very extensive background in marketing physicians and really planning the best ways to properly communicate for physicians and their practices. I've worked for a major health system in Nashville, Tennessee now for over 10 years, and just learning the different ways that really are best to promote those doctors, because there's not one specific way to promote all of them, because they're all very unique and they can offer different things. So you really have to think about your audience. I do have a slideshow this evening that I'm going to share with you, so I'm going to pull that up. And this will really guide us through the presentation tonight. So, as I said, today we are going to be talking about 5 steps to marketing physicians. And, first off, really what you want to do is tailor your marketing efforts to the physician. You want to ask yourself, are they a primary care or are they a specialist? Because if they're a primary care physician, really what you're going to be doing is you're going to be marketing to the community, because people are making their own appointments for those physicians. If it's a specialist, then really you need to market those physicians to the primary care doctors and to other specialists that would be referring to them. However, as you see on number 2, you want to ask yourself, can patients self-refer or is it referral only? So there are some specialists, such as the cardiologist, that with most insurances, a patient can refer themselves, but not in all cases can that happen. So you really need to work with that physician, with that practice, and ask them, how do you get your patients? Do you get them more from physicians, or do you get them from community, or do you get them from both? And then you really want to know what their expertise and their interests are. How are they unique? There's so many physicians in a specific community, in a specific area, that they might all do the same thing. But what makes your doctor different, and how do they stand out? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in depth. So when you are creating the material and the marketing, that it's clean, it's simple, and that it's consistent. You want everything to look the same, so that one piece of information might have different, physician information. It might have different educational information on it, but it looks just the same. So you know what doctor you're talking about, you know what physician practice it is, and it becomes, where the patient knows what they're looking at. So I want to show you some examples when I talk about clean and simple and consistent. If you see here the picture on the left with the 2 women dedicated to caring for you. So that is what we used to use for our physician rack cards. And, that's just a stock photo. There is nothing that makes that unique. It doesn't tell another physician why it would be important to send their patient to the Tennessee breast specialist. But if you look to the rack card next to it that has the 4 physicians on it, that is the actual physicians that we are promoting with the breast surgical specialist. So we also really talk about their health grade ratings, their consumer review on consumer review websites. We talk about their insurance plans. And so the front of this rack card is so much more valuable than the one on the left side of the screen, because it has the physician's photos. It shows how caring they are. It makes you feel more of a connection to them. And it also highlights, just 2 quick highlights about that practice and what they have to offer. So this is another example of kind of when I talk about clean and consistent, simple. You see we are promoting the same physician here, but the one on the left, it doesn't tell me anything about Dr. Baskin except that she's a breast surgeon. It it doesn't make me want to send a patient to her, and as a patient, why do I want to go to her? But when I look at the rat card on the right, it's very modern, it's very clean. I see at the top that she has high ratings on consumer review websites, so that's very important to me as a patient, and even as a physician that I send my patient there. And then I really can look and see what she specializes in. So, and I think it's important here. I see that she has family history of breast cancer. And, that to me would mean that she's going to be more sympathetic with my patient if she's been through it before with herself or her family. So this is just an example of what I'm talking about with make sure that it is very simple to read, it's easy to read, and that all of your pieces remain consistent throughout, no matter if it's a rat card or a welcome poster or any other different collateral, you want it to all look the same. So, just to highlight that more, the importance of branding it builds awareness. The patients remember your physician, they remember that practice. So when you are creating the collateral, I've mentioned this, the consumer reviews, the health grades ratings. There's, so many different ratings out there. There's vitals.com, healthgrades.com, physicians.com, that you want to be sure, number one, that your physician is getting on there and owning those profiles. Same as LinkedIn, same as Facebook. You don't want to have a profile out there that people might be talking about you, but you have no idea, or your information may be wrong. So make sure that your physician is getting on there and owning that profile, putting their picture on there, making sure that their address is correct, making sure that if there is a negative review, you answer to that, because you definitely do not want a negative review out there that has absolutely no response to it on, why that physician would have received that negative review. And even with the positive reviews, I think people that get on there to share their positive experience, it looks very engaging if you as the physician or someone for that physician is getting on there to say, thank you, so glad that you had a great experience. That's what we strive to do every day. You also want to talk about what awards and honors that physician has won. That just makes them stand out, makes them more unique than other physicians in the community. And what insurances do they accept? Do they take an insurance that maybe other physicians that are in their same specialty do not take? Because that's something that is going to make them stand out, and it's going to make that other practice remember, oh, they take Blue Cross Blue Shield, and the other physicians do not take that. So make sure that you know those things that make the physician different. So a little bit about with health grades and the consumer reviews, I wanted to share with you a recent study that was published by the Journal of the American Medical Association is really saying that most people, about 78% of people, are looking online. When they're looking for a physician or their family is looking for a physician, they're getting online to see what people are saying about them. So that is just another reason why it is so important to pay attention to those reviews, pay attention to those consumer websites that have your physician on there. So this, I wanted to show you some examples when I talk about keeping the collateral consistent and how important that is. So I've shown you earlier what some of our older collateral looks like. And then, as we've really been trying to enhance it, make things look more modern, simple, this is our new look for St. Thomas Health. And the image to the top left that has Dr. Milam, you can see it has pretty much the same information as all of the different images on here. But the one on the top left, that is a mailer that we send out welcoming new physicians, telling the community that we have that physician. However, since this is a specialist, this mailer actually went to referring physicians. And then we did hit a few homes around the hospital just for an awareness message. But really, Dr. Milam, because he is a gynecologic oncologist, he is getting most of his patients through referrals. So we sent a mailer to the physician practices. Then you have a welcome poster. So that was posted throughout the facility, the hospital that Dr. Milam practices in. And then as you can see, the strip below that has referral information inside. So we also went a step further after the mailer. Then we sent a packet that had a referral pad in it that I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. It had some rack cards with his information, and it had some ink pens and a couple of, kind of giveaway items to have as keepsakes around the office, just as people pick it up, see his name, see his practice name. But we put this referral information sticker on the outside of the white envelope because, you want to be sure people get so much mail, and you want to be sure that the offices know this isn't junk mail, open it, it has important information inside. So that was just a way to brand it and keep it consistent. This is his rack card. And again, as I've been talking about, really find out what that physician specializes in, talk about the consumer reviews, put what his specialties are on the front so that the physician, the patients, whoever is looking at that, I know quickly at a glance what Dr. Milam does and really what he specializes in. I mentioned the referral pad. So this is an example. We give this when our physicians are visiting other physician practices. This is left with them. So it really serves as two purposes. The front is the photo that you see at the top right. So you have what Dr. Milam specializes in. You have all of the insurances that he accepts. We do put somewhat of a disclaimer at the bottom to say, please call and verify with the office if you have any questions on any of the insurances. But we do work with the physician practices to keep this information updated. And, that's just so helpful to the practices. And we have had great feedback about that is the number one question that the referring practice always wants to know is, well, what insurance does this doctor take? Because I'm not going to send my patient somewhere that doesn't take his insurance. So this is very helpful. And then it serves as another purpose because you have the patient appointment information. So the practice, when they make that appointment, they write this down for the patient. And then you see the bottom left picture has more information for the patient. So we have the patient checklist, any items that patient needs to have when they come to their appointment with Dr. Milam is listed on there. You have a map that tells that patient exactly how to get to his practice. We have the practice phone number. So we're trying to make it as easy as we can on that referring physician and then on the new patient that is coming to see Dr. Milam. So this really gets that patient appointment off to a very positive and good start right from the beginning, which is exactly what you want. And I wanted to show you, this is another physician, Dr. Broom, who is an endocrine surgeon, but just another way to emphasize how important it is to keep that consistent look throughout all of your pieces. These are all employed physicians through St. Thomas Health. They are with different specialties, a different practice name. However, it is all branded the same to show that they are part of a large system and part of one group. And this is actually a letter, another great idea that has been very successful. It is a letter that Dr. Broom put together, and he gives this to physicians that refer patients to him. And what it does is it walks that doctor through the entire process of what their patient will go through. A lot of times physicians, it's scary referring their patients to another physician because they don't know what kind of treatment that they're going to receive. They're not sure, is my patient going to be treated the way I want them to be? Is their care going to be the right care for them? So this is a nice leave behind for Dr. Broom to give those physicians to say, this is exactly what your patient experiences, and I want you to know that I'm going to take care of them, and I'm going to send them back to you, even better, because you sent them to me for this special need that they have. So this is another good idea that has gone over very well. So we, when we started with our employed physicians, we have 65 practices. There were about 60, maybe 65 completely different websites for each one. So as you can imagine, that is very confusing for not only those 65 practices to refer patients to each other, but it's confusing for the patients as well in the community. So we took those and we branded it into just one website, and that is stthomasdoctors.com. And so you can look at that and see where, you know, all of your physicians are put together in one area, all the specialties. And then we also did physician focused videos. So those videos are 2 minutes, some are under 2 minutes, and it's just a physician talking about themselves and, you know, why they became a doctor, why they do what they do. So I'm going to share those with you because I really want you to see that consistent website and, you know, the practice information. So I'm going to pull that up. You'll bear with me for 1 minute here. Okay. So here is the landing page for stthomasdoctors.com. Oh, let me get it sharing to everyone. Okay, so here's the landing page for stthomasdoctors.com. And as you can see, we have a patient portal for all of those practices. You can choose by location. So if you live in a smaller community or a larger community, you can choose where you want to go, or you can choose by specialty. Say you just have a certain need that you need to get taken care of and you just want to choose by specialty. You really don't care where that physician is. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible. We have patient testimonials on the website that talk about our various physicians as well. And then you have different health tips that you can go to, and it could also connects with our Facebook post and our media site, and then you can also get to the hospitals through there. So I want to show you one of the videos for one of our physicians. We do these for every physician that we have, and this is just to give you an example. Let me pull it up here. And here we go.
Well, I'm kind of the black sheep of the family, actually. I was in college here at Vanderbilt and was studying liberal arts and enjoying every minute of it, but was really attracted to the sciences. I've been so in high school as well. And I had a friend who was taking pre-med courses and kept reading over his shoulder. I kept looking at what he was studying. And I thought, I'll take a few of those classes. And loved it, embraced it. And wasn't really sure about medical school. That was a big step for someone in my family. So I worked with Robert Busek in pediatric cardiology and Bill Frist in transplant. And then after being immersed in the field, the decision was made. It was an easy decision. Applied to medical school and went the next year. When I got into it, I just loved it. You can make such a change in lives by treating people in the world of sleep medicine. And it's a little different from the pulmonary and critical care world where we might change a little something and see what would happen. You could actually affect lives. Kind of an instant gratification person. You can get instant gratification out of treating things like sleep apnea and insomnia and restless leg syndrome. You can really affect lives. That's what I love. In the past, I was an avid traveler with my family and then later my husband. And I love photography. I'm not, there's no special training involved. I just like snapping pictures. I've really enjoyed it as I've gone through my travels, especially. I suppose I would like them to know that I'm a listener I want to better their lives. I want to help them. I may be asking questions that they've never been asked before by a doctor, but it's all in the effort to optimize their sleep quality.
Okay. So as you can see, you know, with that, it just really talks about her hobbies and why she became a physician. So that is a great way to make someone feel comfortable about that doctor before they've even seen her. They know her expertise. They know what kind of person she is. She smiles. She seems fun. You know, so it hopefully can build a connection with the patient before they've even gotten to that physician. We also have on her website, you can see where we have her awards and honors, and we have a patient packet, we have directions to the office, and then you can also, of course, use the Google map here as well. So we try to make it extremely useful for the patients, even the physician practice. These videos have been very helpful in a lot of different ways. When our physicians have gone on talks, then they show these, or you know, we've just been sending them to potential patients a lot. So good way to market them and to be a little bit different. We're going to go back here to, let me get back to the slide. So yeah, I think, you know, with St. Thomas Doctors, that's really what I wanted to show you there. And I hope that, let me get back to me. So I hope that you've been able to learn the importance of being able to really tailor the message specific to the physician, being unique, making your physician or their practice stand out is really going to make a difference. And being able to provide those items that have the consumer reviews and that have that specific information. So best of luck to you. And I do have a LinkedIn page. It's Angie Boyd Chambers. I'm also on Facebook and I'm also on Twitter. So hope to have you as a follower, hope to join you on LinkedIn, and thanks so much for watching.